I believe we're live. I see the red live logo.
Yes, you should be live.
Isa?
Okay. Yes, we are. I think we're live. Okay. Hello, everybody. Now I call meeting to order. Welcome to the January 5th regular meeting of the West Hartford Human Rights Commission. My name is Essam Burai, and I'm the chair of the commission. The West Hartford Human Rights Commission fosters mutual understanding and respect among people and encourages equality of treatment of all people, regardless of race, color, religious creed, sex, sexual orientation, civil union status, gender identity or expression, marital status, familial status, genetic information, age, economic status, lawful source of income, national origin or ancestry, veteran status or present or past history of physical, mental, intellectual, or learning disability, including but not limited to blindness. The meeting is being conducted in a virtual format in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act as amended by Public Act number 21-2, which authorizes municipalities to conduct public meetings virtually. Also, in accordance with the Governor Lamont Executive Order concerning the conduct of public meetings and proceedings. Members of the public can view the meeting live on West Hartford Community Television at www.whctv.org and YouTube/WHCTV5. The meeting is also being recorded for on-demand viewing and will be available on the town's website for at least 45 days. Since we are conducting this meeting in a virtual format, there are some special rules and procedures that I need to cover before we begin. First, I ask all participants to mute your device when you are not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I will call on you in the order I see hands raised. If you are participating by audio only or do not call I do not call on you and the debate is ending, then unmute your phone and let me know so that I can recognize you. Second, all speakers must make a good faith effort to state the person's name and title at the outset of each occasion that such person participates in the meeting. Third, all votes must be taken by roll call unless the vote is anonymous. Fourth, a reminder that if any participant has a problem with connectivity, you should immediately call Carrie tonight, whose phone number will be provided earlier. She will let me know and we will recess the meeting while the problem is resolved. If it cannot be resolved quickly, we will ask you to call into the meeting using a phone and participate via audio only. Now let's proceed to a roll call and agenda items. First, attendance. Essam Burai is here. Don Ennis will join us late. Aurora Melita.
Here.
Eric Schoenberg. Theodore Mancini.
Here.
Sarah Raskin is excused. Kristen Sowell.
Here.
Tikisha Everette is not here today. The second item in our agenda for tonight is the approval of last meeting minutes. As we shared the minutes and via email, do I have motion? Any questions? Any questions or discussion over the minutes? Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Motion to accept the minutes.
Second. Okay, so Eric and Kristen, thank you so much. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Minutes accepted. Thank you so much. Second item with the chair, which is very, very interesting because Don and I should recognize the Sarah Raskin and Bramod. Both of them are not here. However, I would still like to extend our gratitude to Sarah. Actually, I'm not doing this for Sarah because she's staying with us. So Sarah is out of the gratitude this meeting. But Sarah and everyone on the commission, Pramod and everyone else are so much, we're so grateful for
This
the
is Don
work.
Ennis joining. Just sorry to interrupt. Just letting you know, just joined.
Thank you, Don. We appreciate the work we all do for the commission. So thank you so much, Sarah and Pramod and everyone else on the commission. The second thing I'd like to highlight is we are meeting today. It's the last day of the first year of the anniversary of what happened on our nation's capital on January 6th. As a Human Rights Commission, we stand for democracy, free election. So I would like to have a minute to recognize what happened on that day as an occasion that our nation should remember for many years to come, and learn the needed lessons that we need to learn from that day, and believe in our institutions and our freedoms and our democracy. It will be very hard for a human rights organization to pass this day and this occasion without recognizing the significance of that day. And I took this in my responsibility to highlight that tomorrow we are having, I think the town is having a nonpartisan vigil to commemorate the day as well. I would like to open the floor for a few minutes if any commissioner would like to say something.
I had one question.
Ted, yes, absolutely, Ted.
It's Ted Mancini, Commissioner. Since this wasn't on the agenda, there wasn't any time to either prepare, read, have any kind of statements or anything on it. So I'm not sure as to how viable, I mean, what is it that we're going to be able to say?
This is Eric Schomer. Ted, there's not a point or an advocacy position trying to be made. I think it's just an opportunity for people to talk about how they feel about it. And personally, it was embarrassing as an American what happened, and unfortunate, and hopefully nothing like that ever happens again.
This is Don Ennis. I'm just going to add that although it's not a agenda item, we have in the past opened our meetings by noting where we are on the calendar for certain holidays, certain commemorations, certain observations of religious faith. And I think we'd be remiss if we did not at least take note of tomorrow's one-year anniversary and the fact that an investigation is ongoing into the roots of this terrible day. And I plan, I hope someone will join me, to stand outside of Town Hall at 5 p.m. tomorrow to mark this day. So thank you.
Any other, Ted, I hope you answered your question. Any other comments or questions? I hear none. Okay, so our business today. The first item on our business is the school resources officer. So the item is to discuss inviting a speaker from West Hartford or the Hartford area to continue the commissioner research and education on the matter. I think Dawn has an update on that, or she needs to talk to that.
What I had proposed in a email to our commissioners is that now that we've heard from the Board of Ed, we have not heard from the Board of Ed. Now that we've heard from the police chief and the superintendent in meetings in 2021, I feel that there's still more voices, more West Hartford voices that we need to hear from to go forward with what I think Ted Mancini, my fellow commissioner, has stated, that we need more information about SROs in West Hartford. And I'm looking for us to either form a committee or to seek out local voices to help educate us on the SRO situation as it stands, and help us make a determination as to what we should do next, if anything. I think that our past meeting, we explored a lot of our opinions, and I'm looking for facts. I'm looking for some kind of accounting of how SROs work, or if they don't work in our town. And I would just like to make that suggestion. I'm not making a motion at this time, but I am looking for us to move forward with some kind of speaker or speakers who can further answer these questions.
Thank you. So, thank you, Don. This is Commissioner Co-Chair. I also would like to add to this, if we will be interested to invite maybe a professor or a psychologist, a professor who's been researching this in a non-partisan way, in more like an academic, scientific way, that would be able to help us to deeper understanding the situation. I would also like throw this suggestion in the ring and see what other commissioners feel about that. Thank you.
This is Eric Schoenberg, and I think you just exactly described Sarah, because she is a neuropsychologist who has been researching this. And I believe she shared links earlier, and I did take a look at some of them. I haven't come to any kind of conclusion or opinion yet, so certainly be hoping to hear what other people say. But I also agree with what Ted said, is national and statewide research is interesting, but as I learned in one of my statistics classes in college, statistics will show anything, which is why I am particularly interested if there is real data about West Hartford or a town just like this, because everything's different.
This is Don Ennis. I want to thank Eric for his great observations there. Statistics I was taught in college are lies, damn lies, and statistics, right? The thing that I would like to do is to move that Sarah's notes via email, her links, her references, if they could be entered into the record, so that the secretary can record them for everyone to see, so that the public can then see them at a later date.
Aurora Melita here. Happy to do that, Donna. I'll make a point to put the research that Sarah shared with us in the minutes for approval for next month.
Ted?
So then are we going to allow opposition research, I guess would be the easiest way to put it, to be entered into the minutes?
Aurora?
Aurora Melita here. Sure, yeah. I don't see, I think anybody, any member from the commission and co-chairs, please correct me if I'm wrong. But if there's information from any of our commissioners that they want to share with us, I would be happy to also include it in as a point of record for information that was shared.
Ted, I'm sorry, Eric.
I think Ted was reaching for his water bottle.
Oh, yeah, just reaching for a pen.
This is Eric. Ted, don't feel like you need to present, and I'm going to use air quotes here. Don, sorry, I'm using air quotes. You can't see them. Opposition, end quote, research. It's just research for general sharing. There's no opinion one way or the other. All the research is there for everybody to review. Nobody has formed a decision. I try to be as straight down the middle as possible. And I would definitely love to see anything that supported your opinion as well, because I have some preliminary opinions, which might not be to the popularity of the group, but I would love to see what you would say.
Aurora, sorry.
Aurora Melita here. Yeah, I just wanted to share, and I apologize I didn't make the last meeting. I was pretty sick. Luckily, it didn't end up being COVID, but you know, Kristen, I feel you. It's a lot being pregnant with a cold. It's so rough. But So I didn't get to share kind of some of my feedback from the Representative Gilchrist event that was held on a conversation around SROs. And, you know, I have to agree with, you know, some of what Eric said as well. And I did listen to, I was able to listen to the meeting from last month. So it was a really great conversation overall. But I have to agree with Eric too. The more that I do research and I dig into this, you know, West Hartford is a very specific area. It's really hard to compare with, you know, other municipalities and other parts of Connecticut. So I think, you know, the perspective we have to give it, because we're the West Hartford Human Rights Commission, is what's happening like locally, right? I was lucky enough to have the 2 SROs in West Hartford in my breakout discussion, who gave me a really great education as to what they do. And it was really helpful because every SRO across the state has kind of different parameters that are somewhat agreed upon with the Board of Education, I believe. And I could be wrong, so please nobody quote me on this, but that's what it appeared to be. And the system that West Hartford has set up with SROs sounds pretty good. You know, they're not wearing their uniforms most days. They're going in, you know, they're dressed down, you know, everyday clothes. So they're very relatable, which I think if you look into the research, you see that sometimes, you know, a student seeing an officer in uniform is much different than seeing somebody, you know, somebody there that is more easily to relate to. So, you know, that's just one of the positives I took away from the conversation with the SROs. And, you know, so I think my opinion from the education that we're doing is certainly becoming, it's certainly helping me and figuring out what I think would be the best thing to do ultimately, or what my opinion would be on the matter, specifically when it comes to West Hartford. So, you know, with all that being said, it sounds like an education around what SROs are in West Hartford would be helpful for us as a commission at this point, right? Because I think that we're doing a good job getting research, and if we go in the route that Esam said, where we kind of have someone that has studied it, as to how it affects, you know, youth and school and the benefits, or however you want to frame it. And then we just have like a basic understanding as to what is it, right? How did it come to be? What are the parameters? What's the relationship and the objective of having SRO in school, right? I think if we just kind of almost make it more educational for ourselves. I don't know if that would be someone from the Board of Ed or an SRO themselves. I'm not sure about that. But I just wanted to share a little bit because I didn't get to kind of talk about it last meeting.
Ted?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to get information from Board of Ed members wouldn't be helpful. They don't deal with the SROs at all. If you want someone to talk with, it would be the SROs themselves, maybe administration, maybe teachers, the individuals that work at the schools, like cafeteria staff, the people that run the cafeteria, the people that do the maintenance in the grounds, the individuals that run the maintenance in the grounds. Board of Ed, they just don't, you know, deal with them on a daily basis. I'm not sure actually how much at all they really deal with them.
Eric?
And I could not agree with you more. Having someone who is really on the ground and actually facing the realities of what's happening would really be important.
Okay, so do we agree? Do you think we should? And this is a question for the commission. So do you guys think we should start reaching out to schools, SROs, and teachers to invite them in, or we don't need to do that now? So I think the question now is that I need your opinion on: do we need to invite speakers to speak to us on that matter? And if yes, how? Ted?
Well, if you're going to invite anybody in, the people I would start with would be the chief of police and the SRO.
Okay.
And I don't know if there's an individual that happens to oversee, or a particular supervisor that supervises the SROs, But I can definitely tell you that if you invite the chief of police and the SROs, those are the people that you at least want to talk with first. And they were all there at the meeting that Aurora and myself were at.
If this is Don Ennis, co-chair, if I could suggest, although some of the commission members who are with us now weren't here for the chief of police, it took us so many months to get him to create up a schedule to join us that I would like to try and shoot a little lower and see if either an assistant chief or the head of the SROs with the West Hartford Police Department would speak to us so they have more hands-on information. And it's not a reflection of any distrust or dislike of the chief. It's just that we've had him and it took forever to get him. And I think we might have better fortune getting someone of lower rank who actually has more hands-on experience.
Eric?
So I want to jump in and I want to suggest, this is Eric Schoenberg. I think that Dawn and Ted's idea about an SRO or the head of SRO, potentially one of those people and a school psychologist, because I think they might be able to present a different vantage point about the effects on people, which we also need to look at, and what the net effect is on people. So potentially a school psychologist from a middle or high school level and an SRO or a head SRO, I think would probably be able to really give a comprehensive overview of what's really happening.
Okay, so now we have, Ted, sorry.
I'm not sure how helpful a psychologist would be or actually how impartial they would be, but beyond that, to get one from the middle school wouldn't actually be helpful because the SROs aren't inside the middle school. It would be from the high school. They're not in the elementary schools either. They're only in the high schools. They have the police or the officers that visit these schools, but as far as the SROs that are there on a daily basis, that's only the high schools.
This is Eric. Then if we can hopefully get a school psychologist from the high school and an SRO who's actually on duty at the high school to also participate, I think that might be a very fair and reasonable presentation of what's really going on, which I think is what we're trying to find out.
Aurora?
I can, yeah.
Aurora?
Aurora Melita here. Yeah, I think an SRO sounds great. I am wondering if we want to include whoever that administrative person is at the school that kind of works with the SRO to help them understand what needs to be covered in the school, or that piece I just don't completely understand how it works, because I want to make sure that we're also capturing the need from the school's perspective as well. So I just want to make sure we get that. And then I think a psychologist makes a lot of sense. And whether it's specifically a psychologist or someone that covers the needs of the students or understands more in depth what students are going through, I think that's an important voice to kind of have part of the conversation in the context as an educator within the school system.
Thank you, Aurora. Dawn as co-chair. So just to sum up, if I'm not mishearing, let's make sure I get this right. We'd like to invite one person from the West Hartford Police Department who works with SROs or in SRO or supervises SROs. We'd like to get someone who works in administrative level at a high school who works with SROs. And we'd like to get a psychologist or mental health professional who works with students and in relation to the mental health of students in relation to security and safety on campus. Am I summing that up correctly?
Aurora?
I don't know if we need someone that administers SROs within the police, just because I think an SRO can adequately explain what they do. They're the ones doing it, right? But I think the administrative piece, I think it's more from the perspective of the school system, because there has to be a relationship with overseeing the students in the SRO, but I'm not sure, at least that's what I think, but I'm not sure what everybody else thinks.
Eric?
I don't think that an administrator from either side is necessary. I think that we really want to deal with the people that are really interacting with what's actually going on. The school psychologists meet with individuals one-on-one. I know that from personal experience with my child in the school system. And they're the ones that hear the complaints, hear the issues. So to the extent that there are, I'm sure there are issues and problems that need to be heard and dealt with, I think the school psychologist will be an excellent advocate for the reasons and the potential harmful effects. And the SRO, the real SRO, not an administrator, will say, here are the positive effects. And I think with they say the boots on the ground people, I think we can get a real understanding. And obviously, with only 2 people, it might be a little bit easier and more time sensitive.
Kristen, then Don. Muted, by the way.
You're on mute, Kristen.
I found the button. I'm on my phone today and I never used it on the phone. Sorry, guys. Like I said, my voice is gone. Just a quick question, just for me. Like, are the psychologists allowed, even though it's not like personal information and it's not regarding specific students, are they allowed to share data like that? I don't know because I'm not a psychologist, but Eric.
Eric Schoenberg, the lawyer, as long as they don't give specific names, they can absolutely talk about experiences. So we'll get the
Nice.
real
Okay.
deal data.
Okay. Thank you for answering.
Don, you had your hands up.
I just want to add that while I agree with the intention that we should only have boots on the ground, having being a journalist and having been a member of this commission, they're not going to let anybody meet with us without some suit sitting with them or sitting behind them or joining them. It's just, I want to just lower expectations that if we ask for a school resource officer and I cross my fingers we actually get one, their boss is going to come along or their supervisor or some administrator, and it'll be the same for the school system. I want to just make that clear that I don't think we'll get that, but there's no reason why we shouldn't ask. Thank you.
Ted.
I'm just curious, where is this push coming from?
What push?
On the SROs in the schools. West Hartford's had SROs 50 years. Where's the push coming from? This isn't something new. This isn't something that's only been around 10 years. I mean, it's been around. We had SROs when I was in school. I've been here 51 years.
Eric.
So, Ted, I think there were a couple meetings ago where some of our commissioners raised it as an issue, and we decided to discuss it. And that's where it came from.
Ted.
So that's actually my question. So this is something that was raised by this commission. There's not some large public outcry that was brought to this commission.
This is Eric Schoenberg. Ted, that's kind of what we do, though, is
Okay.
we try to sense issues within the community, raise them, and hopefully avoid a situation where there's a public outcry and it's an emergency response. I think we try to be more proactive here.
Don.
In response to Ted's question, and I support what Eric said, in addition to our commission raising this issue, it was raised, I believe, by my fellow commissioner, Sarah Raskin, because of it becoming an issue in other municipalities across our country. And she brought it to our attention because we want to be ahead of it, not reacting to it, but exploring this as something that we would want to understand. Again, we're not looking to take action or to recommend anything, but we as a commission want to understand the human rights aspect of having school resource officers in our schools. And we didn't create the event that Representative Gillibrand hosted. It's just a reaction to, I think, nationwide concern since last summer of how police and members of marginalized communities have been interacting. So I think it's an outgrowth of that, and I'll shut up.
Ted. Please, Don, don't shut up. Ted.
Okay, but like I said, I was just actually asking for confirmation that this was something that's just brought up by the committee itself. It's not anything that's a West Hartford outcry. It's just brought up by the commission.
Yes. And again, I echo what Eric and Don said. This is what we do. There's a bigger national conversation going on that topic, and this conversation actually reached out to, or have reached Connecticut and some places and some people in West Hartford. And as a commission, we're trying to understand the depth of the issue and to have the full information. Then if the debate became bigger than just a debate, we as a commission will be able to provide our informed recommendation on things. And I think that's what we should do, and this is why we're here today, or why we needed this commission. Aurora?
Hey, Aurora Melita here. I just wanted to kind of formally withdraw my consideration for a type of administrator to be one of the speakers based on what Eric said. That was really helpful, Eric, with a breakdown with kind of what a psychologist would be able to bring to the conversation, because that's kind of what I was looking for with an administrator, kind of making sure that that perspective was there. So I'm happy to withdraw that. And I also completely understand what you mean, Don, with we may ask for like an SRO, and we may ask for a psychologist, but they may come with a suit, right? So I think maybe in an effort to, not have prolong the conversation too much longer, we'll try to book them just, if a suit comes with one of the speakers, we'll try to book them on the same night, right? But yeah, I mean, and also Ted, I know this conversation, I feel like we've been going with it for quite a while too. But as long as we're coming from the perspective of educating ourselves, I think that we're doing a pretty good job then, right? And ultimately, we may decide that, this isn't something for the commission to pursue. I think that's, still completely an option that's going to be on the table.
Absolutely. And also, as I think about it right now, should we also invite one of the students, maybe hear from students how they feel about having SROs in the school? I don't know if that's too much, since we're now trying to listen from boots on the ground. So I think students are there. So what do you think? Okay, I see only Eric raising his hand, but I know Aurora raised their hand and Don raised their hand as well. So I don't know which. So Eric, okay.
Quick point, very simple point. Just from a legal perspective, having minors in the meeting creates a whole host of issues with consent. So I would be against it strictly for that reason.
Okay. Aurora?
I think we have done quite an education around this already, so we're not coming to this without any type of knowledge. So I think it's good to just go for the SRO and the psychologist ask to see where we land with speakers, and then reevaluate after that. And I will, like I said, I had really great conversations with the two SROs, and there was actually a retired West Hartford SRO in the conversation as well. And they were very articulate and really conversationally was great, sharing, what they do, what they face, what they support. And so I think it would be great to hear from them directly.
Great. So psychologist and SRO.
Yeah, I would just, Don, and as co-chair, say that while I admire and appreciate the suggestion, how do we have one student represent all of West Hartford students? I mean, between race and gender and identity, there's just so many other things. I think that we might want to revisit that. Maybe just to answer Eric's point about having minors, we did have the Mayor's Advisory Council, whatever those kids were last time that Pramod brought. So maybe that's a second round or something. But for right now, I think we keep it narrow.
Okay. Eric?
So for practicality's sake, is there anyone within our commission that can easily reach out and connect with a SRO or a school psychologist to have them come in. Because if we have resources here, let's use them.
Don?
I'm connected with both. I can step up and make that invitation, and I'll report to the commission on the results of that for our next agenda.
Okay,
And this is
perfect.
Eric. Ted, do you have any connections with either of the two sides?
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
sides, but
well,
professionals.
yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, I actually have connections with both. In the
So,
school department.
Ted, do you want to see if you can arrange an SRL? And Dawn, would you be able to see if you could arrange a high school psychologist? Dawn, we can hear
You
you.
muted Don, but we got you said yes.
That was a yes. I was trying to say that I'd be happy to be like co-chairs of the subcommittee with Ted, and we'll split the baby.
Okay, great. So then now you guys reach out to your resources and let us know if you have got any response, and we will we'll coordinate from there.
Okay.
Any further discussion on that matter? Here none. The second item on our agenda tonight is the same topic, but for social emotional learning. We need to discuss inviting a speaker to also share with the commission about the social emotional learning topic. Don?
I had suggested in an email to the commission, this is Dawn Ennis, co-chair, that because of the widespread misinformation, misunderstanding, and outrage that has been expressed at Board of Ed meetings, that perhaps if there is such a organized or leadership group that wants to make a presentation to counter what we heard last time, we should be open to them. We should invite them, but I don't know of any. And Sarah Raskin, former co-chair commission member, had expressed that she wasn't aware of any. So I open it to the membership of our commission here, that if anyone knows of anyone who wants to express an alternate view on SEL, I think we should invite them and we should listen.
Ted?
I'll see what I can come up with. I
Okay.
have people I can talk with.
Okay, thank you. So now we have Ted and Don again on the same topic. So thank you. Okay, similar to the same topic, it's the West Hartford Parent Community EDI project. So we got my co-chair Don Ennis and I got an email last week about a learning opportunity in West Hartford, and they asked us if we as a commission would be willing to join them in partnership. Don, do you want to speak to that as well?
Yeah, I'm going to need a second to get my laptop because I don't have it ready. I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
So I can read what it says.
So until Don comes back, it's the motion as there is this learning opportunity in West Hartford that Don will share with us the details of it, and we were asked if we as a commission would be willing to put our names with the name of our commission with them as a partner and as a sponsor of the event. So it's just.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
So I found
now
out
the
I found out
details are from
tonight.
Don. I'm sure Don,
Thank
1
you.
second. The details are from Don. Share with us, and then we will have a motion if we would like to put the commission name as a sponsor to this event or not. Don?
Thank you very much. I found out tonight that the West Hartford Tribe Commission is going to be one of the sponsors of this event. This is a person named Tracy Fastenberg from Connecticut Children's Hospital, CCMC. She has asked for us to sponsor sponsored by our name being on the placard, and for one of us to be a host or MC for an event on February 1st, focusing on understanding gender diversity in children and adolescents, primarily for the West Hartford community. It follows an event they held in spring 2020 in conjunction with New Haven Pride. It's a virtual talk. It's not in person. It's a Q&A around gender respect and identity and sexuality. It's going to provide education for caregivers on the process of gender transition for children, adolescents from medical professionals. And the two speakers are a surgeon and an endocrinologist who works in the gender clinic at CCMC. I suggested that if it was approved by our commission, that I would host this event and be sort of like the moderator, not a participant. And now I'll shut up and ask Isam if we could have a motion whether we should participate or sponsor or not.
Again, is there any discussion on the topic? The topic being motion to as a commission to put the name of the commission. As the co-chair of the commission, I think that's the kind of work that we as a commission should stand behind and support. It falls within our advocacy for human rights and children around West Hartford. But I would like to open the floor for discussion. Ted.
Is it a talk, a meeting, an organization, or whatever? Do they take all points of view into consideration? And the doctors that speak on it, are they only from one side of not one side of the aisle, but do they approach it from more than only one way?
Don?
They said in their invitation to us that their aim is not just to benefit families of children who are interested in transitioning or gender diverse, but to empower all families to educate themselves and their children. The doctors are not partisans. They are not for or against transition, but they are in the field of helping families determine whether transition or gender diversity is something that should be either treated or explored. They're not advocates, they're not activists, nor am I. And CCMC as a public health facility is nonpartisan, not invested. They don't do surgeries on children for gender transition, things like that. So this is trying to educate folks, and they refer to the work that the West Hartford Public Schools are doing, and they're trying to add a scientific medical component to what the West Hartford schools are doing by providing this this opportunity to ask questions and get them answered. So every point of view would be welcomed and addressed, including those people who may stand in opposition to trans and non-binary identities.
Any further discussion?
Since first, then me.
Oh, did you say me first?
I said Kristen first and then me.
I'm sorry. I'm just a little confused as to, and this is nothing towards Ted, nothing, but you're saying two sides, right? I don't understand how there's two sides when we're supposed to be fighting for human rights. Gender diversity is a human right. I mean, I can't, I don't understand. And that's why I'm asking, just show me or tell me like what there is. But I just, to me, I don't see why there would be two sides. You know what I mean? Human, they're human. It's their right. So why should there be another side? I mean, why we would even question backing this whole February, what is it, February 1st up? Like, I don't know why it would even be questioned. I'm just kind of lost for words because I just me, and that's probably just me, my opinion, but I just don't see why there would be two sides. It's one side, it's the human side, right? Gender diversity, they're humans. So why would there be another side? I mean, I don't know why we would question it. So just, you can school me, Ted, because me personally, I just don't get it. And maybe that's just me. So if you can explain, Ted, that would be great. Sorry, it sounds so, my voice keeps going in and out.
Thanks, Kristen. Eric?
This is Eric Schummer. So I don't think Ted's question was answered. I thought you very eloquently spoke around it, Don. Just my opinion. However, I also don't see the issue with what is clearly going to be an informational discussion. There's no policy that's going to come out of it. There's no laws that are going to come out of it. There's no procedures that are going to come out of it. So I also don't see the harm in adopting that, but still acknowledging Ted's point that I don't think his question was actually answered.
I'm going to let Ted answer or respond to Kristen first, and then I can respond to Eric's question if you want me to.
Okay. Eric, I'm sorry, Ted.
Kristen, so what you're stating is that not everything has more than one side. So there's no room for any kind of dissenting opinion.
To me personally, I feel no. I mean,
But
so if you're going against this person's human right, then what is it? Why? That's just me personally. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what they want to do, it's their right. So why should we be questioning it is my thing. Why should there be another side? It should only be one side. So, I mean,
so
go
then
ahead, Ted.
can we expand on that to everything else, that there's only one side as long as it doesn't affect another individual?
Well, if it doesn't affect their rights, if it doesn't strip their rights away, why wouldn't we back up somebody and their rights? That's
Like,
sorry.
no problem.
I'm a mess.
It's hard to pick. Yep, I got it. Believe me.
Yeah, but just explain, because I just, it may just me being one-sided, and maybe I just don't know. So if you can explain to me so that I can understand why there is another side, then I'm all willing to learn.
Well, I mean, again, to make it simple, is my question to you is that so that in any issue, as long as it doesn't affect or have any kind of bearing on another individual's life or freedoms or what have you, then there is no dissenting side to that.
Sorry.
Is that what you're saying?
Oh, sorry, Eric, you want to say something?
So this is
And I
Eric.
am
So I think I have a perfect example of what Ted's trying to explain. So there's a law in place that says you must wear a seatbelt in a car. And people who don't like it say, well, it's my life, it's my choice. But if there's an accident and someone not wearing a seatbelt is ejected through the windshield and suffers catastrophic injuries and cannot afford to pay for the medical bills, and the medical bills have to get absorbed by the state, it then affects everybody. So I'm not taking any sides on this, but there are effects to things that you might not think only affect you and reach more broadly. But again, no position, because I just repeat what I said initially. But sometimes we have to think more broadly.
Don.
Well, thank you, Kristen, for muting that.
Thank you, Kristen and Eric and Ted, all of you, for exploring our opinions here and our positions. I will say that my experience has been that rights are not a pie. Me having equal rights, me having a right to declare the gender that I am, to live the life I do, does not take away from anyone else's right. They are welcome to feel what they feel or be opposed or express their opinion. But in Connecticut, at least, you can't deny me my housing, my employment, my health benefits because of how you feel about my gender identity. And what this meeting is about is not the law or about rights, but only about information, education, and support of young people who may have questions about their gender identity or about dealing with others who have gender identity questions. And the intent here is to support and educate students, families, caregivers, educators. If I said that twice, I'm sorry, brain dead. And not to propaganda, propagate or spread propaganda. There is without question a movement in this country to change laws or to enact laws that would restrict expression of gender identity in school, in sports, in other parts of life. And this informational hearing is not about that. This forum is about the science and the medicine. And they're not going to do anything except answer questions. And I welcome all those who have questions, and that means all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Don. And I will try to echo what's been said here. I'm not sure if I understood your points, got all of you guys right or wrong, but Ted, to answer your question, yes, there are stuff that's only one side. There are things there are only one side of things. There's no two sides. There are some issues that way. And some of those things are our basic freedoms on, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, organizing, and freedom of marriage and housing and all of those things. So yeah, there are some stuff, there is like only one side of the equation. There is no the other side of the equation. The second point is this event is educational event. It's not a policy event, is not lobbying or advocating for one way or another. It's a pure educational event that hopefully people will be there, and hopefully I'm assuming the audience also will be very diverse audience in opinions, and everyone will ask questions based on the presentations that will happen on those, and people will ask both sides of question. If there is two sides of this equation, people will ask those questions of both sides because it's educational, and that's what we do in educational setting. We listen to presentation and we ask questions, try to understand the truth behind the information and data we were given. So it's an educational training. I think it has sides in it because it's education, and we're happy to share as part of the request. Shall we agree to sponsor the event? Part of it is to share this information with everybody. Hopefully people will show to those events and ask whatever questions they have, or try to support whatever opinions they have on that topic. I hope that answered your questions. Any further discussion? Okay, so I would like to have a motion for sponsoring the Human Rights Commission to sponsor the event. Do I have a second? Eric, second. Who's in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Abstain?
Any abstentions?
Okay, so we have Dead abstaining. Thank you so much, Eric.
I wasn't sure you were going to get there. We don't always get to the abstentions.
Yeah, I saw that didn't raise his hand, and both seems like I was going to ask. So, yes, okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Before you move on, Co-Chair, can I have a motion to permit me to represent the commission as the moderator of this event?
Yeah, so do we have motion to nominate Don Ennis to represent us in this event? I move the motion. Any second? Kristen, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, thank you, Ted.
And yeah, and
Webex Library didn't raise their hand. Are they against this?
So 2 motions have moved. Adapted. Okay. So January honor roll notice. So it's our colleagues are asking should be the one who do that, but she's not here today, but she sent us a quick update. I'm trying to pull it out. The honor, yeah, okay. So she said the honor roll for nomination is ready to go, and I can start posting in social media. The town will post to their website and send out. The mayor suggested with the holidays and COVID that we give people until February 15. The town will create a website for us to post the names and a short description. I wonder if Rosanna is a good person to, okay, I'm sorry, that's it. This is about the honor roll that the town has agreed, and the deadline is February 15. We should share everywhere. And also the town will have a website for nomination and so on and so forth. Any discussion? I hope Sarah will have been here today to update us more on that. Hopefully she'll be here next meeting. Okay. I hear no discussion. So next item on the agenda today is the crime petition, and we have update from our colleague Todd Mancini. Ted?
Yeah, I spoke with one of the counselors that's on that subcommittee, and they said that their first meeting is tonight. So actually, they're having their meeting on it right now as we're meeting. So I'll have more of an update for everybody at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks so much, Ted. Okay, next item on the agenda today, another men working sign around West Hartford that was spotted by our colleague Don Ennis. So Don, do you want to talk to that?
You caught me paying attention to an email, so would you mind repeating that? I did not fall asleep. I just got distracted. Sorry.
Men at work signs.
Hey.
Yeah, I know you weren't paying attention, so I called on you.
So I have a email from the town manager regarding men at work, and I was driving last month and saw a crew on Brewster Road with men at work signs, and I thought, oh wow, that's something we already addressed here at West Hartford Human Rights Commission. Why is this happening? So I took a picture, a couple of pictures, and I sent a email to the town manager asking if they had any response to these signs. So just let me call up the email, which is not here, but it's coming. Here it is. Okay, good. So Greg Summer, and I'll read from his email, wrote, he's the assistant town engineer, by the way. The town manager passed this along. Thank you for bringing this issue to our attention. The town understands the importance of this issue. We are not aware of contractors hired directly by the town using gender-specific signage, and we will continue to include language in our contracts prohibiting use of these signs. The company, R.H. White, was hired by Connecticut Natural Gas to perform work on Brewster Road. We notified the contractor of the signage issue on the morning of December 8th when he sent this email. They committed to ordering proper signage and replacing the obsolete signage once received. He said, thank you to the commission for bringing this issue to their attention. And I just want to conclude by saying, when I drove past the other way on my way home, I noticed that one of the men working at this site was not a man, but a woman. So it's especially relevant in this particular instance. And I just thought I'd share that as part of our commission meeting.
Beyond that day, has anyone seen anything? Or do we think that they sorted it out?
The latter, as far as I know.
Yeah, I have been through a few work locations around town through my driving, and I didn't see any back in.
I'm sorry, that was Eric with the question before. So SM, it sounds like the suggestion to put that into their contracts has taken care of the issue, but potentially if there's state work done, so that raises another issue. So obviously the town's contractors now have that in their contract language, but then we need to reach out to the state DOT. But that seems like a tall mountain to climb.
Seems like out of our jurisdiction.
Well, I mean,
I would be okay if Eric wanted to do it.
So This is Eric again. So the state roads that go through our town, other than 44, are there any others? Because that would be the only one you need to worry about.
New Britain Ave,
It's a state road?
Yes.
What's the state route number?
oh,
The 372?
that I don't know.
Oh my God, I lived here my whole life and I have no idea. I need to look it up.
I've always known it as New Britain Ave. That was it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah,
it
that's it.
matters due to the maintenance and when we have to sue them for failure to maintain.
Route 173.
It is.
Okay, so 173 and 44, they'll have the shields around them. They're signed differently. That's the only way you know.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Wait, there's one more. Route 71. What's that? Ridgewood Road?
Oh, Ridgewood by NBC 30 down. Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, which I can't stand, but you know,
That's a state road.
that's what it says in Wikipedia. I don't believe it, but you know, that's what it says.
It seems super like resident lease.
I don't believe that that's a
Yeah, I think that's wrong.
road. Yeah.
Let me just check it again. Maybe I'm reading it
Obviously,
wrong.
I mean, the amount of work on those roads is going to be minimal relative to the whole scope.
Except for if New Britain Avenue is, they're always doing work. There's work being done like right down the street from me right now. I should actually,
Yeah.
I don't think they have any signs. So just,
You know where it
just
is?
the bright orange signs.
I'm sorry, Kristen. This is Don Ennis, co-chair. The part of Ridgewood Road between I-84 and New Britain Avenue, that's the part.
Ramp.
That's a state
that
road.
Small chop.
The ramp.
Right
Right outside Channel 30.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion for today? I'm sorry, for that topic. Okay. Next item on the agenda is location for our next meeting, in February. So again, we have two options. One virtually, the second one is in the Elmwood Community Center, like virtually or in-person meetings. So I'd like to open the floor for discussion if you guys are interested in virtual or in-person meeting. And I've seen Eric go first. He bit you, Kristen, to that hand. I'm sorry.
I'm going to defer to Kristen.
Okay.
Did you say start with me?
I said
okay.
I'm going to defer to Kristen
I-
again.
He deferred for you.
Well,
to
I
you.
say virtually, just because me and Aurora are both with child. So that's like an extra precautionary measure that we'll need to take, especially with the uptick. And with me sounding like this, who would want to sit next to me in a meeting? Not COVID though, but so me, I vote for virtually.
Okay. Eric?
I support Kristen.
Okay. Don?
I triple or third Kristen because of our wanting to protect both of the ladies and to also protect all of us. And I think February will probably be worse than in January, if that can even be possible.
Okay.
Do not say that, Don.
I'm sorry, I'm just being.
Aurora?
There's only so much that some of us can handle right now.
That's sure. Aurora?
Aurora Melita here. So sorry to report that I am also going through another quarantine. Ironically, last month I couldn't make it. I happened to also be sick. Luckily, none of us ended up getting COVID, but my son had a direct exposure at his daycare, and he's a little sick. So we, this all just happened. This all just happened on Monday. So we're getting our PCRs on Friday. It's just, every day I'm hearing more and more. It's just so contagious right now. And I benefit a lot still from meeting virtually. I don't think it's infringing on our work. And I think that the process works very well. So I would vote for virtual for next month, just to be safe, knowing that it seems like it'll probably get a little bit worse before it starts to get a little bit better. And I am crossing my fingers once we hit the spring that we will, be able to more easily and happily get together and hold these meetings in person. That's my hope. So that's what I'm thinking.
Thank you, Aurora. Ted, majority has it for virtual, but I'm gonna ask you anyway.
I always prefer in person. It's a better platform for myself, but I have no problems whatsoever meeting virtually, especially, you got people who are pregnant and everything like that. I have no issue meeting virtually. I love the commute. It's not rough, so I'm good.
Thank you so much, Ted. And I echoed Ted so much. I love and prefer in-person school meetings, classes. I do prefer in person, but given the majority has it for virtual, so virtual it is. Yeah. So yes, Eric.
Very quickly, this is Eric. Ted, I think you'd be equally great both ways.
I want to meet Ted in person.
Me too. Me too. I do.
I've had the pleasure. Ted, you're a wonderful, happy person, and I want to endorse you to meet everyone at some point. I've had the great pleasure.
See how much you can fool people by only meeting them once? See?
I sincerely I met all of you guys in person except Ted. So I really would love to have the opportunity as soon as possible to meet you, Ted, in person and get to know you in person. That would be great. And since you're a happy person too, so like we will need this in our life these days. We really do. Okay. I think the only thing, the only item left in our agenda for today is open discussion. Is there any other things you guys would like to discuss today? And of course, Don.
Will she ever shut up? I emailed you all earlier today that I have bios from everyone except for Takesha and Ted. I also am missing a headshot if Eric wants to supply one. It's up to Eric.
Hey,
Ted,
we've been over this. You keep on not remembering that I sent it to you.
You know what?
I'll send you another one.
It's hanging in over my bed. I forgot. That's right. Okay, Eric, I'll find that photo.
I am a handsome man. That's
You are.
okay.
Your wife says so. Also, Eric, while I have
does.
you here, I want to clarify. When you wrote your bio so many long times ago, you said you have 3 children. Is it now 4 or is it 3?
No, it's 3. I included the anticipatory third.
Just making sure. All right.
Very fair question.
So you don't have to send the photo again, but I do need one from Takesha. And Eric, I have your bio, but it's Ted. I don't have a bio from, and Takesha. And if Ted it's completely optional. I don't even know if they're going to put our pictures up on the website. And nobody else provided a video except Aurora, which was lovely. And I included it in the bio, but I don't know. We'll see what they say.
Motion to see Aurora's video. Is there a second?
Second. I will
Okay,
share it
let's
with
go.
I will share it with the commission. Before I move on to the second item, I want to bring on Ted. Did you want to respond to my request for a bio?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. That's my fault. I just, something, if I don't do something exactly when I'm thinking about it, then I get caught up in so many other things I forget.
See how much alike we are? I got a message that one of our viewers tonight is the person organizing the event we discussed earlier regarding gender diversity. And she wanted us to know that she wants to clarify that these are CCMC providers, but the event is not a CCMC event. It is an event from EDI and its partners. And she wanted to reflect that there will be Q&A time, which will be moderated, but there will be questions from folks who see gender only on a binary, and she's perfectly fine with that. And I can explain what EDI is in a second. EDI is the West Hartford Parent Community Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Group. So that's just a note from one of our viewers.
Thank you so much, Don. And before we move to the next item on agenda, we did approve the motion of seeing Aurora's video, right? You got this, Aurora, on record.
You know, seconded, thirded, fifth, whatever. That's squared.
Yeah, it's motion has passed. sorry, Aurora, majority has it.
We're gonna swipe left out of respect for Aurora right now.
It's back on demand.
I love that. I just broke Dawn. I'm sorry.
That's great. Okay, so last item on our agenda for tonight is our next meeting is going to be on Wednesday, February the 2nd. I cannot wait to see you guys next month, and thank you so much for everything, for the work you do. Happy New Year, and I wish 2022 will be the end of our virtual meetings and we'll get to see each other and life will resume again to normal before ages of COVID. So thank you so much, and do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I'm going to second what you just said and put that as a motion, and then we can adjourn.
Yes, Eric seconded what I just said, and he moved the motion. Do I have a second for the motion?
Second.
Kristen seconded.
Kristen! Look at this, 8:17 p.m. Woohoo!
Who's in favor?
Aye.
Motion has
Bye,
passed.
everybody. Take
Unanimously.
care.
Thank you so much, everybody.
New Year.
See you
Have a good
next
one,
month.
both of you.
See you next month.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
Bye,
mamas.
guys.
Good night,
Bye.
guys. Good night.